discuss the contributions that HeLa cells have made to our community and to our world. And we're going to talk about all the scientific technology that it has aided. And the first thing we're going to do for our first 5 today is watch a quick video that discusses what HeLa cells have done in our world. And then we're going to connect it to a nonfiction text that tells us in detail whose lives actually contributed to HeLa cell research. So, very quickly, after the video, we're going to discuss the following questions. The first is list at least 3 things that HeLa cells have contributed to that now benefit us. The second question is, do you agree or disagree with the family receiving no compensation for the use of their mother's cells, and why? And 3, what do you feel that the family deserves at this point, and why? After the video, make sure you have 3 sentences written, and then we will discuss them together.
First to be cloned. They've traveled to outer space. Telomerase, an enzyme that helps cancers, a lab worker's hand. A piece of...
Listen to a few of your responses to the following questions. First question, Kaylee, listed 3 things that HeLa cells have contributed to that now benefit our community and world.
Polio vaccines, gene mapping, and chemotherapy.
Absolutely. Polio vaccine. Imagine if we didn't have the polio vaccine.
We would die.
And chemotherapy. So those are just a few of the many, many things that HeLa cells have contributed to. Did you see that they were also the first cells to go into space? Can you imagine if we didn't know what human cells would do when they had 0 gravity? But now we know, thanks to HeLa cells. Second question. Ted, do you agree or disagree with the family receiving no compensation for the use of their mother's cells?
I agree that they should have received some compensation because her cells have done a lot for the community and their environment.
So you believe they should have received some compensation?
Yes.
Okay, good. Even though it was standard practice at the time. All right, what type of compensation do you feel they should receive? Money or recognition or both?
They don't, I mean, yeah, pretty much both because like they're making like millions off their mother's cells and compensation because like that's their mother and they didn't even really know about it until like decades ago.
Okay, very, very good. Also, let's see. Diamond, how do you feel? Let's look at a different viewpoint. Do you agree or disagree with the family receiving no compensation?
I disagree. I feel like they should have known that their mother cells are putting everybody that is living right now. Like, they deserve some money and recognition for that. Because really, she's living with, like, a no-name brand tombstone. Like, they put her out in a forest somewhere, and they deserve recognition for that.
Right, good point. She is. Her remains are, she's basically in a grave with no headstone, an unmarked grave. And how long was it before the family even realized that their mother's cells were being used in scientific research? Decades. So they went for that long without knowing that basically their mother's cells are still alive and they're being used every day and sold. And they went for that long without knowing. Okay, third question. What do you feel that the family deserves at this point? Collier.
I feel like Henrietta Lacks family should be like their family should like get the recognition of her to Henrietta being a part of the family member because she really hadn't gotten that much, even though she's done so much for the society. And her family really should get some type of money, because like what Ted said, it's like a multi-million-dollar deal, and they're not getting anything for it. So I feel like they should get some type of money because it's their family.
Good point. Her cells are being sold for up to $2,000, maybe even more online. That's a lot of money to be made. And pharmaceutical companies are selling them by the vial for all types of different medical research, and they're used worldwide. So not just in our country, but everywhere. Eric.
Well, if you think about it, you kind of donated them donating themselves. So you really can't expect to get money out of something that you're trying to donate. So you really can't expect money from me donating blood or my cancer. You really can't expect us to do that.
That's a good viewpoint also, because if you're donating something, you're not really expecting to receive the recognition. And back then, they had no informed consent law, so this was standard procedure and practice that they took cells from every person who
I thought
died.
she didn't donate them. I thought they were like looking.
They found them out.
Yeah, they basically like they
But
stole
she
them.
donated,
Down the pond.
So they found them out, or did she donate?
Back then, they were more interested in finding cures for diseases. And at the time, they were looking for a cure for polio and a vaccine to prevent it. So they were less concerned about offending people than about obtaining the information they needed to perform research. So that was their first priority.
but she's still
Okay.
free coding.
Now we're going to have our fishbowl discussion in which the inner circle will be discussing the topics at hand. The outside circle has a designated partner to evaluate. Remember, if you are in the outside circle, you may not at all communicate with anyone on the inside circle. You are strictly to evaluate your partner. Your evaluation questions are what we discussed in class earlier. Make sure you provide at least one piece of evidence of something they said to contribute to the discussion. And then give them one of their strengths and one of their weaknesses or an area for improvement, and then evaluate their participation within the circle. The members in the circle, you're group A. Remember, you are not to communicate with anyone outside the circle. You are strictly communicating with each other. For each time you use evidence from your nonfiction text, you will receive bonus points for your participation. So remember to use a quote to support your answer. When you're giving your opinion, provide some evidence that others may build upon. This is a hot seat. If someone from the outer circle wishes to make a point or ask a question of any member of the inside group, you may do so. Your limit is twice during the discussion. So if you are to come and make your point, it is a hot seat because you come in, you get in, make your point, and then you go back to your seat. You are not here to discuss. So you're just in it for a moment, and then you go back.
Do you feel that the Lax family is owed a compensation of hereditary cells being used for scientific tests and medical development? What is a fair amount? Should this compensation include a momentary amount, recognition, or both? Warren?
I feel like the family should get something, at least like recognition, because she did something that didn't just affect one person. It affected many people's lives and she did do it for a good cause. So yeah.
I feel warm because without her sales, won't nobody be alive right now.
I disagree with that because we would all be alive. We'd easily get diseases that these cells.
Then you'll be dead, wouldn't it?
No, you'd be sick.
You'll be sick.
You'll be sick and almost dead, right?
Yes.
Okay then.
But
But you ain't gonna just die.
But everybody's going to die without her sales.
not really.
Back on subject, I agree with Warren, as Diamond just said, because they do deserve a little compensation. It was like you said, it affected many lives, so they should receive something for it.
I think they should just deserve recognition because she decided to donate her cells, and donation, you can't really get anything out of that because you did it yourself. So at most they should get recognition, maybe by a president or something, just something big like that to put their name on.
I want something more than a little recognition. I mean, they ain't even have a headstone, nothing. I want some money, first of all. How much they selling?
Has to be a reasonable amount.
I want half of whatever.
How much they selling? About
They're about 2,000.
no, not about 2,000.
You want half.
At least $500,000.
Half of whatever they ever earned.
Yes, because they're making all this money off their mom. But her cells are alive.
Ooh.
And then
She
they
donated them.
She donated.
donated.
No. In
It's
the
like
video,
a
it said
she had testicular cancer or something like that. Yeah, and it's sick. You gotta go to the doctor. They found it out by she going to the doctor. They had to test her.
But she was going to, she was
They found
going,
some end result, some factual results.
she was going to donate blood first.
I agree with Ted though, because they don't have like insurance money. They can't pay for medical bills and stuff like that, so they really do need the money. Like they should be getting paid for her sales.
I think they should get recognition and money because they didn't find out until like 20 years later. So they deserve to, people deserve to know what their family is and where they got HeLa cells from.
They don't deserve money because all she did was, they basically tried helping her out, and her disease was just a 1 in a million type of disease. Because they've done other tests on other people trying to get the same cells, but they just can't find the same cells. So they just.
Okay, she didn't donate her cells. They like took them from her without her knowing. Like it was common practice, but she didn't like choose to give them. They just like she didn't say like I want to.
But they were trying to cure her cancer.
And
the people that should pay for are the people that are getting the money off of it, like how they'll sell, the cure, not getting cure, the medicine for like polio or not polio, like all those medicines they like got from the research and all that stuff, and so that they like founded off of her cells. Only the cure, like those cures that they get money off of those is what they should be selling, like giving that money to her. If that makes sense. Like the pharmacies and stuff.
Should give them a certain amount of money?
Yeah, like 25% of what they made off of their like research and stuff like that.
next question.
Okay, next question. The problem with the lax receiving recognition for the mother's contribution to scientific testing is that it leaves the door open for other families who, at the time, unknowingly donated their own cells to research. Do you think this will cause legal issues in the future? And if so, how should they be resolved and prevented? I don't know how to respond to that.
That's like the problem of giving people money, because like once you give somebody money, somebody else is gonna be like, hey, she got money for donating this, how about we get money?
Do you feel that any members of the society should receive some sort of recognition for donating their cells or tissue for medical research, regardless if the results of testing are profitable or not? Why or why not?
No, they should not. They donated. They took hers. There's a difference in between that. You gave it away. They took. Difference.
I agree with that.
I do. Because it was from a cancer that she's trying to get rid of. If you're trying to get rid of a cancer, you really don't care what they do to get it.
First, you don't know if you have cancer until you go to the doctor and see. They found out that she had cancer. They didn't tell her.
And they were trying to help her get rid of it.
But
her cells.
Say you had cancer.
Her cells were reproduced too fast, and they really couldn't help her.
Well, that's why they took them and they used
Yeah,
the
they
cells. Say you had cancer. When you want to know that you had cancer,
they told her she had cancer.
No, they didn't tell her she had cancer, and they didn't tell her that she had HeLa cells either. They didn't tell her nothing.
They didn't find out that they were like that until they took it to her.
She is bro.
They started.
Okay. Great job using accountable talk, building on one another's opinions, and providing evidence to support your answer. We have SWOT groups. So now the inside group will be evaluating the inside group. All of you have a designated partner, so be sure you're thoroughly evaluating their performance. Offer them some feedback. What is something they did that was a strength? Give them an area for improvement. And jot down any quotes you hear that were particularly compelling, something they used to provide evidence or to give a strong argument or counter argument. Those are the sort of things we're looking for. So we'll go ahead and set your timer for 15 minutes. The hot seat is over here. The same rules apply. If you're on the outside circle and you wish to make a point or ask a question, you may get in the hot seat and then immediately get out because you are not part of the discussion. you're evaluating, unless you're in the hot seat, you do not communicate with members of the inside circle, and vice versa.
Calls you the first person. I'll read it.
Okay,
Do you feel
the
like,
timer is set.
do you,
Collier, go ahead, you may
do you
begin.
feel that the Lax family has earned compensation for Henrietta's cells being used for scientific testing and medical developments? What is a fair amount? Should this compensation include a monetary amount, recognition, or both?
I said they should receive recognition and money simply because I feel like it's wrong that they living in poverty and these scientists, the people that never even knew Henrietta had they're earning so much money for this stuff that they're making out of her cells, and the families need help. So I think they should receive recognition and money.
I think they should receive recognition, and they should like put a statue up of her and give her a tombstone, because like, people deserve to know her. Like even if her family doesn't get money, people deserve to know her because she saved so many lives.
They said that she was buried next to her mother. Maybe that's where she wanted to be buried.
Yeah, but she should still like have a headstone.
Yeah,
It's not like they should move her.
they just like buried her without anything.
They did.
Maybe she wouldn't be buried. Okay, next question.
Next question.
If you believe they are owed monetary compensation, who should be responsible for paying the family what they are owed?
I think if anybody should have to pay, it should be the pharmaceutical companies, because those are people who are making money off of it, not the doctors.
I agree with her.
I agree.
Yeah, same here.
I agree, but the problem would be like which pharmaceutical companies have sold hers, because like some of them may not confess that they've actually sold her cells. So, and there might be too many to count.
The problem with the Lax receiving recognition for their mother's contribution to scientific testing is that it leaves the door open for other families who at the time unknowingly donated their own cells to research. Do you think this will cause legal issues in the future? And if so, how should they be resolved or prevented?
I feel like the other people, yeah, well, I feel like they donated their cells, so basically they were open for whatever would happen with their cells. And that even though they donated their cells, Henrietta Lex was the one who made it happen. Her cells was the one who made all of this greatness, and they shouldn't be able to like file a lawsuit or get like, I mean, yeah, they can have recognition. You donate your cells just like she did. Well, she didn't donate hers, but you gave hers like she did. But the fact that you shouldn't be able to like get paid because you donated your cells, because you felt like that was what you should have done.
Yeah, like, I think, like everybody else whose cells were used in research, their cells didn't cause as much impact on like society, like all throughout the world. And I think if you donate $1 million, like people like name a library after you. But if you donate $1, like no one's gonna say anything.
I agree with Kaylee because like her cells did so much for her. Like she said on the video about with Ebola and HIV and all these cures that HeLa cells have happened, and I feel like hers are more important because no one other cells have such an impact on the medical field like she has. I feel like her cells have has vaccines so where we don't have to have like the polio and things like that.
Do you feel that any member of society should receive some sort of recognition for donating their cells or tissue for medical research, regardless if the results of testing are profitable or not? Why or why not?
No, I don't feel like they should be recognized because I feel like there's a lot of people in history that have donated their cells or tissues for medical research, and I feel like that would just be too many people to recognize.
I agree. Holly.
Thanks, Maya.
if they're able and
I
willing.
think, like, maybe if people, like, come forth and say, like, oh, like, if something big happens, like, if someone donates their body to science, or their dad, like, donates their body to science, and, like, that helped them fight cancer, like, research or something, I think they should be, like, recognized if something, like, a break, like, some, like, big, like, medical break comes from it. But if it's something that, like, doesn't help anybody, I don't think it should be that recognized.
Right.
Ted's and Casey.
Ted?
Oh, you said that, there's just too many like people to recognize. I don't agree with that because like, yeah, they donated that, but like she said, if someone donates $1 million, then yeah, they're gonna remember them. But if you donate $1 that really doesn't do nothing, who's gonna remember them? The seat so
I feel like it wouldn't hurt, like, what harm is it gonna do if, you know, you recognize that person or those people for what they do? I mean, like, what they did, or if they did nothing, it didn't hurt just to be like, hey, you did this, thanks, you know.
Yeah, I think maybe like there should be some way you should find out, like even if it's in like a book, like a big medical book or something. Like they shouldn't get a statue for like donating something that matters, but
You get a little piece of paper, thank you for your donation.
yeah, maybe something like that, something like small, just
But
to show that you
my
can.
whole big deal is people donate their organs every day, and I feel like they donate, yeah, because everyone donates organs every day. Not everyone, but the people that do. And so like, and they never get any recognition. I just feel like the list would have to keep going on and on and on and be updated daily. And I just feel like that would be a lot of work.
But what does it hurt though?
I mean,
But who got time to do that?
Yeah, and I feel like maybe you shouldn't even need recognition. Like maybe the only recognition you should need is like how like good you feel for helping someone out. Like why does everyone feel like they need compensation for doing the right thing? I think that's what you're supposed to do.
I agree with Collier and Kaylee, because if you look at it, if you donate a heart or you donate an organ and it saves somebody's life, you basically did what she did, and you deserve recognition.
She did it to like a whole new extent.
she did it so.
Yeah, but you still saved lives.
It's just one person, that really don't matter. Like,
but what if that person was
got a whole
you?
disease, you just care.
Okay, one at a time.
To be honest, she really ain't donated.
She didn't donate.
They like took it away from her.
I think
But it's okay though.
depending on what you do depends on how your recognition handles.
What if recognizing them, like, what if that's a good thing? Because then, what if you don't know if, like, their family is, like, they could be all like, they'd be like, oh yeah, I cured something. Oh, well, my mom cured something. And they'll be on my household and they'll just be annoying. So,
James in the hot seat.
Pretty sure everybody gets it.
Well, I was just saying.
Alright, so like, you talking about recognition, like, you have people that try out for a movie, you don't give the people who tried out recognition, you only give the people who made the movie the recognition. Dang.
I agree with you.
That was good.
Should prisoners be allowed to serve as subjects for medical research?
I don't think they should.
I think they should be able to, because anyone who is willing to donate their body and save a life is, like, that's a pretty big deal, so I think that should be able to do, especially if they're on, like,
Death row.
yeah, death row.
I think anybody who says who consents themselves and says I want to help medical research should be able to. Like it's not like they're being forced to. Like if you say like I want to, then you should be allowed to.
I feel like, yeah. I mean, they can do it. They can save a life. But at the same time, some people, like some prisoners, whatever they did to get in prison, some people they can't be trusted, and you don't know what people have. How many they probably arrested for drugs or something, and you don't know what's going on in their body. That you could be saving a life, but you can also harm one.
well, I'm pretty sure okay.
It could be heroin.
Listen, I'm pretty sure that before they actually donate and all that kind of stuff, I'm pretty sure they're gonna test you
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and also it's not like you're like, it's not that they're gonna like your organs and people, like, if you're just like so alive or whatever. It's just like testing, and another thing that could help is like testing addiction. If you have, they have heroin addictions, like, you can like do medical research to test like how to help addictions and stuff, and like, that can help. It's not like their stuff's gonna be put in other people's body, but it can be used for research and testing.
If you're on death row, you're breathing someone else's air that they could be breathing.
Ooh.
Lawrence.
Oh, hey, everybody. Yeah, I want to agree. I forgot who said it, but somebody had said that if you get you should like at first get tested before you want to go in and like just give your stuff away. Cause like in the Grey's Anatomy little scene that we saw, he wanted to give it away, but like somebody probably knew that there was something up with it, like inside his body, something like drugs or something in his body. So you should they should allow them to do that, but they should get tested before they do that.
Yeah, and before any.
Okay, I want you to go ahead and open up to Google Classroom. There's an assignment posted at the very top of the page. It says, write a brief reflection of your performance in the fishbowl discussion today. Identify at least one strength and one area for improvement. Your reflection should include at least 3 sentences. And then go ahead and save that to Google Classroom, and that will be your exit ticket for today's class. And your performance was great. You used accountable talk. You've built on each other's ideas. There were some very, very solid points made, so I want to commend you. Make sure you have 3 sentences in your reflection.
Yeah, I need to go.
Miss Stott.